Once again, Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa is in concussion protocol after what looks to be his third concussion this season. And now you have a lot of people around the NFL, including former NFL players, some whose careers were cut short by injuries, including concussions, asking and begging the Dolphins to shut Tua down for the rest of the season. Ex-NFL players urged Tua Tagovailoa to shut down season amid latest concussion scare. And I do want to show everybody what we're talking about. And here's Robert Griffin III calls for Tua to sit out the rest of the season after third concussion scare. We know he had an absolute meltdown against the Green Bay Packers. That fourth quarter where he threw 3 interceptions. People are wondering what happened to Tua. Well, some people are blaming this potential concussion on what happened to Tua with that meltdown that he had. And early on, I witnessed a couple shots that I thought, ooh, that looks like he kind of took a hard hit. I didn't notice this one when it happened, but somebody did. Look at this, saw this live, and I recorded it because I knew as soon as I saw it. Here's Tua. Now, he doesn't get anything. He's going to scramble out and find somebody while he's on the run. And if you see, his head comes down and it hits the back of his head right here. They're going to slow it down for us. And if you think this looks a little familiar, it's because it probably does look familiar to you. Boom, back of the head. If you remember, this was the first moment where people say he suffered the first concussion. And everybody said he got cleared from concussion protocol. It was a back injury, wasn't actual concussion, all that stuff. Ended up seeing a doctor get fired because of all this. But this was that moment.
Type of an injury on this play. We have Teddy.
Boom, goes down, hits the back of his head right there. And when he got up, he was woozy, could barely walk.
Getting up. Oh, my goodness.
You saw all that happen. Well, then what happened the week after? That was the really bad one. The one against the Bengals. Here we go.
Left with the grain, and down he goes.
Now, that one, he actually got slammed down. And I think we all remember seeing what happened in the aftermath of that.
Josh Tupu.
Tua just completely out. His fingers look like he's throwing up gang signs. His body just like tenses up when he's out. He's out like a light. Absolute. Got a concussion. Had to get off the field. Was taken to the hospital after that. Very, very scary situation. But something that you have to point out, like 2 of these plays are like very normal plays. The one where he just gets shoved down, like this is a nothing play. A nothing play. And if we're saying he got a concussion from that, come on. And what about this one? This is another nothing play. Like, this is a nothing play in the NFL. And if Tua is actually getting injured like this, how long can he really go in the NFL? If you're getting concussions from routine plays like this, it's not sustainable. You can't be an NFL quarterback. But now you do have people, including Steve Young, including Robert Griffin III, urging him to sit out. Former NFL quarterbacks Steve Young and Robert Griffin III discussed the subject with ex-defensive tackle Booger McFarland on Monday Night Countdown. All urged more caution in the NFL around head injuries, while Griffin and McFarland directly called for Tagovailoa to shut it down. Tua shouldn't play any more this season if the NFL's serious about health and safety and concussions. And now let's just listen to some of their conversation.
An advocate about how our game has kind of moved towards the softer side.
Yes.
You know, the roughing the passer is more like touching the passer now. But when we talk about these head injuries, it's nothing to play with. Yeah. You got to put the person before the player. I'm more concerned about Tua and his longevity of life than I am about whether he's going to play on Sunday. We see
the real concern, right? Obviously, you're concerned about Tua's health for sure. Everybody should be concerned about Tua's health. But really, if the guy's this fragile, he shouldn't be in the NFL, period. Like, the Dolphins need to find a replacement for him. If this is the type of fragility we're talking about, where routine plays are putting you in concussion protocol like this, you can't do it. You can't play, regardless of the health concerns going forward. He simply won't be available enough for him to have reliably be an NFL starter.
Guys like Luke Kuechly, a teammate of mine, Jordan Reed, have to retire because of these head injuries. And Booger, you know this. Guys that you played the game with have gone off the field and done things to hurt themselves or their families because of things that were suffered on the field, CTE, all those things.
Well, there's the science is still out when it comes to CTE and how much effect that has on what other people do outside, because the reality is every single former NFL player who they've studied their brain has had CTE. not all those people have done things to hurt themselves, blah, blah, blah. So the science is definitely out on that, despite a lot of the hyperbole surrounding it.
Things come into play. So my mind is on, what does this look like for Tua in the future? He should not play for the rest of the season, whether you call it 2 concussions or 3, 2 incidents or 3 incidents. It's a repeat. And the hit that he really suffered the concussion on, or we think that he suffered the concussion on, it wasn't that violent of a hit. It was a routine play.
Right. But
because his head smacked off the ground, the repeat of all of those hits are starting to add up. So I'm more concerned about Tua and his family than
Yeah, and I think, everyone should be concerned about Tua, but the reality is for the Dolphins, you can't move forward with a guy that's this fragile. I think that's the bottom line. Health has been a concern for Tua long before concussions were a problem. It was other things with Tua that people were worried about. Now it's all of a sudden become this concussion thing. And in modern day NFL, where as soon as you go in concussion protocol, there's a high likelihood you won't play the next game. I don't know if this dude has a future in the NFL, regardless of how well things might go when he is on the field for them. Let me know. Obviously, Steve Young, too, had some things to say about this. I don't have it in a video clip, but I want to read a little bit of it to you. Steve Young didn't explicitly call for Tua to end the season, but he urged for more NFL safeguards. There's a lot of NFL safeguards already, but the final frontier of medical science is the brain. We as players do not understand or have any insight into how much risk is involved. We don't know, and medical science can't really tell us. In the end, we're out here every day risking something we can't assess. And that's true. A lot of people want to say, well, once you have one concussion for the rest of your life, you're more likely to have another one. The science behind that is really shaky. Now, certainly, if you aren't fully healed from a concussion that you received a couple days, a week before, whatever, if your brain's not fully healed, you are certainly susceptible to another one right away. That is true. But over the course of a career, that's not necessarily been proven out. There's a lot of conflicting information regarding that. So Steve Young is right about that. Of course, he's the guy who suffered a lot of concussions too. So Tua goes jumping back in there. I recognize how difficult it is for the NFL, how much is at stake. If we're going to be serious about it, we have to be able to test somebody pre-game and they're out for the game. They're going to get to the point with this stuff, though. They're going to get so careful. They're going to get so crazy that players, the big-time players, it's going to be really easy to knock them out several games to start implementing things like this. What do you guys think about the entire situation? Let me know in the comments section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.